Okay, so you think you're like the ultimate dog parent.
Right.
You've got the poop bags, you're buying the fancy organic kibble.
Yeah.
Maybe you've even sprung for the matching Lucian collar set.
Oh, yeah?
But get ready for a reality check because we're about to dive into some stuff that might make you question everything you thought you knew
Right.
about feeding your furry friend. We're talking dog food mistakes, the kind that can actually cause some health issues.
Yeah, and you would be surprised how many well-meaning owners are making these mistakes without even realizing it.
Exactly. So if you're out there picturing yourself as some kind of dog food guru,
Yeah.
dispensing wisdom and perfectly balanced meals with every scoop, get ready to have your illusions shattered. We went deep into this article, Tech Scholar, specifically the part about the 12 dog feeding mistakes
Not cool.
that can lead to health issues. Oh, and they had a really helpful FAQ section too. So basically, we're cutting through all the noise, all the marketing hype,
Right.
and giving you the info you need to keep your pup thriving,
Not just surviving.
not just surviving.
Yeah,
And of course, we're doing it with our signature blend of, insightful analysis
of course.
and just a sprinkle of sarcasm.
Always a little sarcasm.
Because why not?
Well, it's more fun that way.
Right. Okay, so first up, let's talk about overfeeding. I mean,
A classic.
a classic. Those puppy dog eyes, they're like weapons of mass manipulation.
Oh, they are masters.
You think they're starving, but they're probably just experts at getting extra treats.
Exactly. It all comes down to calories in versus calories out.
Oh, yeah, the science.
The science.
Yes.
And if they're taking in more than they're burning off, well, the excess
Yeah.
gets stored as fat.
And that's when we see
Deficiency.
the expansion.
Yeah.
And it's not just about them getting a little round.
Right.
It's actually really bad for their joints.
Oh, absolutely. That extra weight puts a lot of stress on their joints, especially as they get older.
So we're talking arthritis hip problems.
Exactly. And it can even lead to more serious stuff like diabetes. Yeah, because all that extra weight messes with their metabolism.
So it's not just about them looking a little chunky.
Nope.
It's about their long-term health.
It's about quality of life.
Quality of life. Okay. So how do we fix this? I mean, do we just use a smaller scoop?
It's a good start, but you really have to look at the feeding guidelines on the food packaging.
Oh, yeah, those things.
Those things. They give you a general idea, but you have to adjust based on your dog's specific needs.
Specific needs
Like their age, their breed, how active they are. A tiny lap dog who sleeps all day obviously needs way less food than a giant energetic husky.
Makes sense. Okay, next up, we have another feeding faux pas, free feeding, leaving food out all day long.
The all-you-can-eat buffet approach.
Exactly. What could possibly go wrong? Besides, turning your pup into a furry beach ball.
Well, for one thing, it makes it really hard to tell if your dog's appetite has changed.
Their appetite.
Yeah, like if they're suddenly eating less, that could be a sign of a health problem.
Oh, I didn't think about that.
But if there's always food available, you might not notice until it's too late.
So setting specific meal times is important.
It is. It helps with portion control, and it also lets you keep an eye on their eating habits.
Gotcha. Okay, now for something that seems ridiculously obvious, but apparently it's a common mistake, not giving your dog enough fresh water.
Yeah, you'd be surprised how many people forget to check and refill the water bowl.
I mean, it's water. How hard can it be?
Well, apparently it's harder than you think.
Okay, but seriously, dehydration is bad news.
Very bad news. It can strain their kidneys, make them overheat, all sorts of problems.
And it's not just about having water in the bowl.
No, it has to be fresh water. Change it out a couple times a day and wash the bowl regularly too.
So no more leaving that murky water sitting there for days.
Nope. Fresh and clean, that's the key.
Fresh and clean. All right, moving on to a mistake that I'm sure we're all guilty of, at least occasionally.
Let me guess, too many treats.
Ding, ding, ding. We love to spoil our fur babies, but those little training treats can add up calorie-wise.
Oh, yeah, they can. And remember, treats should only make up about 10% of their daily calorie intake.
10%. So all those little bites throughout the day, they can actually sabotage a healthy diet.
They can, especially if you're not careful about the type of treats you're giving.
So what are some good alternatives?
Well, things like baby carrots, green beans, even blueberries can be great options.
Blueberries? Really?
Yeah, a lot of dogs love them, and they're packed with antioxidants.
Huh. Learn something new every day. Okay, now for a topic that can be really scary, giving human food unsafely.
This is a big one.
I mean, we all want to share our meals with our pups, but some human foods can be seriously toxic to dogs.
Exactly.
Chocolate is a classic example.
Right. It contains theobromine, which dogs can't metabolize properly.
So even a small amount can cause vomiting, diarrhea.
Even seizures in severe cases.
And then there are things like grapes and raisins.
Those can lead to kidney failure.
onions and garlic,
Can damage red blood cells.
and xylitol, which is an artificial sweetener found in a lot of sugar-free stuff.
That one's especially dangerous because it can cause a sudden drop in blood sugar and even liver failure.
So basically, when it comes to human food, it's better to be safe than sorry.
Absolutely. Check with your vet or do some research online before giving your dog anything that's not specifically formulated for them.
Okay, now let's talk about something that might seem a little less dramatic, but can still be a problem feeding your dog the same food forever.
The culinary equivalent of Groundhog Day.
Exactly. I mean, imagine eating the same thing every single day.
I know it sounds boring.
It would be torture. And while most dog foods are designed to be nutritionally complete,
Right.
sticking with the exact same formula for years might not be the best idea.
It's like anything else. Variety is key.
Variety is the spice of life.
Exactly. Rotating protein sources, switching between chicken, beef, fish, can help prevent nutritional deficiencies.
And maybe keep things a little more interesting for your pup.
Exactly. And you can also add in some fresh foods like cooked veggies or lean meats.
Just make sure to introduce them gradually.
Right. You don't want to upset their stomach.
Speaking of upsetting their stomach, let's talk about switching foods too quickly.
Another common mistake.
Yeah, it's like a shock to their system.
Their digestive system needs time to adjust to new ingredients.
So no sudden kibble overhauls.
Nope. A gradual transition over a week or two is much better.
Okay, next up we have feeding the wrong portion size.
Ah, yes. The art of eyeballing.
The art of eyeballing, which is usually not very accurate.
It's not an exact science.
It's really not. And even a small difference in portion size can add up over time.
Exactly. Those extra calories can lead to weight gain.
So what's the solution?
Use a measuring cup.
A measuring cup. Revolutionary.
It takes the guesswork out of it.
Okay, next up, let's talk about something that can be really frustrating for both dogs and owners. Food allergies and sensitivities.
This one can be tricky.
It can be, because the symptoms can be all over the place.
Right. You might see skin problems like itching and redness.
Or digestive issues like vomiting and diarrhea.
And sometimes even ear infections.
So if your dog is constantly scratching or having tummy troubles,
Don't just ignore it.
don't just ignore it. It could be a sign of a food allergy.
Exactly. Talk to your vet. They can help you figure out what's causing the problem and recommend a special diet.
All right, now let's talk about the importance of timing when it comes to feeding your dog. Specifically, feeding right before or after exercise.
This is a big one, especially for large breed dogs.
Large breed dogs.
Yeah, they're more prone to a condition called bloat, which is basically when their stomach fills with gas and twists.
That sounds terrifying.
It is. It can be life-threatening.
Wow. So we definitely don't want to feed them right before a big run at the park.
Nope. Wait at least an hour before and after exercise.
Got it. Okay, next mistake, not checking dog food ingredients.
You got to read the label.
Yeah, just because a bag of dog food has a cute picture of a puppy on it.
Doesn't mean it's actually good for them.
So what should we be looking for?
Look for real meat or fish as the first ingredient.
Okay.
Avoid byproducts and fillers, like corn and wheat.
And artificial colors and flavors, too.
Exactly. The more natural, the better.
And finally, let's talk about something that's often overlooked, adjusting your dog's diet as they age.
Puppies have different needs than senior dogs.
Right, they go from being little bundles of energy.
To wise old souls who prefer naps over zoomies.
Exactly. So senior dogs often need fewer calories.
Right. And they may benefit from supplements for joint health and cognitive function.
So basically, talk to your vet about the best diet for your dog's life stage.
It's always the best advice.
Always. All right, let's wrap things up with a quick look at some of the frequently asked questions from our source material.
Okay.
First up, can I feed my dog a homemade diet instead of kibble?
Sure, you can, but it's not as simple as just throwing some leftovers in a bowl.
I figured.
A homemade diet has to be carefully balanced to make sure your dog is getting all the nutrients they need.
So we're talking like consulting with a vet or a pet nutritionist.
Exactly. Otherwise, you could end up doing more harm than good.
Next question. Is grain-free food better for dogs? It seems like everyone's going grain-free these days.
It's a trend, but it's not necessarily the best choice for every dog.
So unless your dog has a confirmed grain allergy...
There's no real reason to avoid grains.
And in fact...
there might even be some risks associated with grain-free diets.
Really?
Yeah, the FDA is currently investigating a possible link between certain grain-free diets and heart disease in dogs.
Wow, that's good to know. Okay, last question. How many meals a day should my dog eat?
Most adult dogs do well with 2 meals a day, 1 in the morning and 1 in the evening.
But puppies might need more frequent feedings.
Puppies are growing machines, so they need more fuel.
Okay, so there you have it, folks. A crash course in dog food, do's and don'ts.
The key takeaway is to be mindful of what you're feeding your dog.
And to always consult with your vet if you have any questions or concerns.
Exactly. Your vet is your best resource when it comes to your dog's health.
So are you going to rethink that extra treat you're about to give your pup? Or are you going to succumb to those puppy dog eyes?
It's a tough choice.
It is. This was just a taste of the fascinating world of dog nutrition.
There's always more to learn.
What other dog-related mysteries are keeping you up at night?
Let us know. We might just dive into them in a future episode.
Until then, happy feeding, everyone.
And happy tails.